Hi, it's Dustin Lanier. Thanks for listening. Please find me on LinkedIn for original public sector operations content every week. And please reach out to me if I and my team of procurement professionals at Civic Initiatives can help you be a public procurement change agent. Today, we're rolling out a survey on DEI programs, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and their connection points to public procurement. We have a large state customer that we're supporting in work around making these two programs, the DEI programs and the public procurement programs, rise together. We'd love your input, whether you are a state, a poly-sub, K-12, or higher ed. We put out a survey today on LinkedIn on my profile. I would encourage you to go and take a look at it, and please participate if you run one of these programs or are involved in one of these programs. So the survey covers 6 areas that represent an arc of work in the connection between DEI programs and public procurement. First, how do we establish goals and measures? There been studies that would indicate where there needs to be more work or different kinds of work? What kinds of groups are covered through a DEI program? Are there individual goals? And what approaches do they take to setting goals, either overall in an overarching way or specific to different types of categories or solicitations? Then it moves into removing barriers to entry. How do we understand the impact of different things like performance bonds, bid bonds, potentially very high levels of insurance on the small vendors and the diverse vendors who maybe don't have access to the same types of instruments? So what considerations have been given on the impact of those on expanding our access to the DEI vendor pool, which then is the next topic. How do we actively work to expand that vendor pool? Do we allow for self-certification? Do we have a certification process? And how do we go about doing outreach and bringing in these entities? Then how do we encourage or specifically require the use of DEI vendors in our solicitations? Do we do sheltered markets or set-asides? Or are there other ways that we encourage the role of vendors in solicitations as either primes or subs? How do we measure and evaluate the program performance, both in terms of the overall execution and then ensuring that post-award that the commitments that were made in the procurement process are then fulfilled into the contracting phase, and how do we confirm that? And then finally, how do we report successes of the program back to stakeholders, such as the legislature or the vendor community themselves? And then how do we identify the needs of the program and the ability to articulate how to continue to build and respond? So if you work in one of these programs, I would ask you to consider finding this survey and filling it out. Communicate with me or my team if you have questions or best practice examples that maybe we didn't capture in the survey. And then also next week on Tuesday at 9 Central, we have our practitioner panel that assembles regularly to talk about different topics in public procurement, and we'll pick up some of these topics. I've had several people who are not necessarily every time regulars, but come through relatively often, and there seems to be a pretty high level of interest in participating in this one. So I hope that we're going to have a great conversation, and I think that it will feed back and forth to the survey. So thanks for listening, and go take a look. Hi, it's Dustin Lanier. Thanks for listening. Please find me on LinkedIn for original public sector operations content every week. And please reach out to me if I and my team of procurement professionals at Civic Initiatives can help you be a public procurement change agent.